Alright, everyone, let's charge into the video subject in question. Hello, everyone. What can we learn from the debate, if you want? Actually, I would more so call it a back and forth discussion between a man who 5 days ago, a man who on his channel, this man who's a New Zealand native who happens to have retired from being a professor, academic, scientist, and senior lecturer on nutrition, statistics, general human physiology, cardiovascular physiology, respiratory physiology, and exercise physiology. His exchange opponent was a fucking vegan. What can we learn from this? Quite a fucking bit. This has been exactly 4 days I've been trying to film this, but the fuck out. Refilming, with each refilming session of multiple attempts, I would realize something new and have to add to it. So I've had to lengthen the script. So I have to take occasional glances at it, right, to make sure I'm on track. But first off, don't be a fucking cunt. AKA, don't be another example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. 2. Do not distort what the opponent says. Do not dare. Fucking dare. Hand wave. Do not deflect. Do not fabricate shit. Do not put words in your opponent's mouth. Do not strawman. And last, penultimately, do not project like Freud did when he called others degenerates while himself being an absolute fucking blatant crackhead to the point other psychoanalysts were cussing him at the time and calling him out for being fundamentally wrong on a lot of things, as well as possibly being rumored to be fucking his sister as well at the time. And he was such a hypocrite in his field, he was supposedly the godfather of, that a friend of mine got a 94 in an essay in college on the son of a bitch. And so it's some pretty spicy takes. I won't say what they are, not right here, because I want to save those for the glorious humor on when I get the gameplay podcast running again after I upload this and about 9 other videos. 7 of I'm more concerned with, this being one of the 7. And instead of doing any of these things, actually fucking learn what the other son of a bitch is saying. Actually listen to him. Number 3, do not stop them from talking when they're addressing a point. 4, do not throw around words with specific meanings. Said meanings having specified and staunched implications as synonyms. Do not treat them like they're synonyms. For instance, incidence and risk. They are not synonyms and should not be used as such. We have this philosophical and scientific study of establishing meaning in language to establish objectivity in meaning in language, known as the study of semantics. Okay, we objectify meaning in words through that study. Instead of throwing it around as, that's semantics. No. Say what you really fucking mean. Anyway. Say it's bullshit, or it's arbitrary, or it's a non-criticism, or it's trivial, it's a splitting of hairs. Do not say, but it's semantics. No, it's not. It's the opposite of semantics. It's anti-semantics. If you want to say that type of wording, say it's anti-Semitic. Anti-semantics, I meant to say. 5. Correlation cannot prove causation. Bottom line. 6. If you step out of your comfort zone, do it with humility, the self-awareness that that you have not the slightest idea of what you're doing, the awareness that you are prone to be wrong because of this, and have the fucking willingness to fucking learn. Like I'm doing in this damn video as I film it. Now that's over. Let's get to the sciencey shit, shall we? Incidence is the rate of. I'm gonna go reading off of this since I wrote this channeling my own thoughts into text, so it'll be just as genuine as if I'm just saying it off the cuff. It's a lot to say. Incidence is the rate or range of occurrence or influence of something in the field of epidemiology when those who study it are not stepping out of their fucking lanes. Look for correlations between something that's either done. I didn't sleep with the fuck last night. Excuse me. Not eaten, not done, whatever, to see if there's a correlation between it and the incidences of an effect, an outcome. Take fucking cancer, for instance. Fucking lung cancer, which my dad had to have his upper left lobe removed of his lung. No, it's 3/4 of his left lung. The top 3/4 gotten rid of. They had to be removed to get rid of the cancer. Then about 4 to 5 months later, he, after back-to-back surgeries, let's say we all placed bets on the probability of the fact that he was getting prescribed a cocktail of various oxys alongside a methadone, told to be taken by MDs, fucking probably killed his heart. In the early morning of the day, he died of congestive heart failure when I tried to wake up his blue and black colored corpse in the bed, in their bed, his and Mom's bed, and I saw a mushed up nose and a face leaking fluids from the mouth indicated congestive heart failure, and that shocked the fuck out of me. It's hard not to talk about without getting misty-eyed. And that was before the beginnings of stomach cancer could kill him. Or colon cancer, I meant. Excuse me. We were all betting on the painkillers killing his heart and painkiller prescription malpractice. Would we get compensation? Probably not. We wouldn't have enough to pay a lawyer to do that. And we couldn't afford an autopsy. So, showing my personal bias on the topic of fucking lung cancer, okay? Showing my personal bias on it, regardless of that, when it comes to lung cancer, we at the absolute best can say the correlation between incidences of lung cancer and smoking cigarettes are high enough to say it might or it probably can cause cancer. But not that it absolutely outright does, because we don't have direct experimental evidence. We do, however, know that the varying degrees of the potential of different chemicals in cigarette smoke can damage the cells, which can lead to varying problems for them. Also factor that in tobacco plants, that they could pull radioactive isotopes of polonium out of the ground. All polonium is a radioactive metal, regardless of isotope. They can, on some occasions, pull radioactive isotopes of lead too, but most of the time it tends to be polonium. They can pull that out of the ground and concentrate in its leaves. Yes, when you smoke cigarettes, you suck in nanoparticles of fucking polonium. Different isotopes of polonium are products of uranium, plutonium, and thorium decaying, okay? That shit, your skin and hair can block it. although it does give DNA damage to the outermost layers of your skin, when it gets in your lungs, that's a different story, and it's way nastier. Also, phosphate mines are when they're empty, they're phosphates. They're nothing but radioactive slag holes or slag heaps, and the fertilizers can potentially contain a mineral called apatite or whatever. It contains the element known as radium, which eventually can decay into polonium-210, which only adds to this problem. Radiation damage is a very widely known fucking phenomena. Do I need to go any further? We've cross-referenced the correlations with that, and that's why, even though we don't say it causes it, we say it probably does at best, and we treat it like it does for safety's sake, right? That's how we handle it, okay? Correlation alone, even if it's really strong, cannot predict risk. It can say something. What we can say is this might cause that. At best. How it does needs to be experimented on. How the exact mechanisms need to be directly clinically done. So if you're following the principles of the scientific method that includes Karl Popper's modifications of them in his The Logic of Science, that book he wrote, and the process of scientific revolutions, or whatever the fuck this book was. I've got to copy see real quick. Oh no, my bad. Here it is. The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. This is the 50th anniversary edition of that book. I cross-reference the scientific principles with this and Karl Popper's deduction improvements to the system. Book I already mentioned the name of, The Logic of Science, Logic of Scientific Discovery, or whatever. It's been updated multiple times. There's multiple copies of the updated versions on Internet Archives. Strongly suggest you check them out if you're a fan of the book reading and the scientific method. You would not say risk, relative risk, or absolute risk, and you'd say incidence or incidences until it's proven this causes that. Another example of this appeal to correlation as causation fallacy was started by Ansel Keys, an oceanographer and sea life physiologist that took epidemiology findings of correlations of humans from 12 different countries, cherry-picked 7 of those correlations out, which if you haven't figured, cherry-picking already debunks it. Cherry-picking of the precursor to actual appliance, the actual application of science to test things, one of the precursor steps leading to it. The cherry-picking them kills the whole thing. It kills it completely. Because it's fucking misconduct already, and claim that saturated fat causes heart disease, cherry picking 7 of those correlations out of the 22, picking exceptions to the rule to claim it's causal. There's too many fucking fallacies in this unfoundedness. Now, don't expect to go to Irrational Wiki for evidence, because it's funded by fucking it's peddled. I'm not saying it's written. It's contributed to by blatant socialism peddlers and controlled opposition and social justice fuck asses. It's called the lipid heart hypothesis because it's a fucking cherry picking of a precursor to science, and it's never been proven to any degree to even change it to a scientific weak theory. No arbitrary relabeling by some so-called authority will ever change this. It will not prove it either. That's just anti-science in and of itself. That 2017 paper written by Joel Kunt, Walter Shitlet, David Scatz, and Catherine Schitz, as I call them, did not disprove any of the words I just said here. It was a horrid attempt at cringe comedy. I expected to be taken seriously. I know, because I've read that motherfucker. The principles of the natural sciences are universal. Further extracted away from the basic fundamentals, the more complex and complicated the fields get in applying these principles consistently. So you have to theorize, approximate, deduce, discover, and invent new methods, maths, and tools to make applying these principles consistently possible in the more complicated fields. Now that I've gone over a chunk of this as part 1, I will see you in episode 2. Thank you for watching.